Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel KN Academy. And today we have Ananya and she cracked Cognizant Genc and we are going to discuss about her full interview experience जिसमें हम पूरा डिस्कशन करने वाले हैं कैसे उन्होंने अप्लाई किया था और किस तरीके से इनका इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस रहा था. So hi Ananya, how are you?
Hello, good evening, sir. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. So we can start your interview experience and you can share your interview experience to our audience कि आपने कैसे प्रोसेस किया था और कैसे आपका इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस रहा है.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing great. My name is Ananya Dubey. Currently, I'm a final year student pursuing my Bachelor's of Technology in Electronics and Communication Engineering at Samrat Ashok Technological Institute, Vidisha. Recently, I've cracked Gen C profile of Cognizant, so I'll be sharing few insights which may help you like crack in. They help me to. First of all, Cognizant came to a college, like we got a notification and email regarding that on 25th of Feb, I guess. So after that, we had to register on Superset portal. Like Cognizant do hiring usually from Superset portal only. So through Superset, we have to like register ourselves, and after that, after completing all the registration process on Superset and on like for applying for Cognizant, after that we received email for they have four rounds. The first one is communication round, second one is aptitude and technical. Like second is aptitude, third one is technical round, and final round is interview round, which is a mix of HR. There's no individual HR round. Interview round and HR round is a combined round.
Okay.
So yeah, after after registering on Superset portal, our screening maybe did by Cognizant. That was not elimination or something, but few of my friends got eliminated on the basis of screening or on the basis of registration. So I'll say that everyone have to be like very careful while registering and while applying, while providing their documents. After that, we got email for communication assessment. After clearing, as I mentioned, we had like step by step four rounds there.
Okay, so basically you mentioned that some students got like rejection also. So is there any
Yes.
document verification in the first step like screening?
No, actually, we tried. My friends who didn't got selected, they tried reaching out placement cell, college placement cell. They
Yes.
tried emailing, like the email to Cognizant, but they were not able to figure out the exact cause of their elimination. But I think the only reason would be maybe they have not applied like picture on resume. At the end, after we did complete registration, our placement cell told us that on the resume which we'll be uploading on Supersite, there should be a profile, there should be a picture.
Okay,
So
yes,
maybe
yes.
that was the reason or something, but they haven't received email for communication.
Okay, so basically in the Cognizant hiring process, they already mentioned that the resume should have the pictures,
Should
right?
have
Okay, so this is
picture,
very
right?
important point, guys. You have to upload that resume where at least one picture, like passport size photograph, should be there in your resume. After that, like you mentioned that you got the schedule, right? Like for which date you like
Communication,
assessment will be there. Then so then first round was communication assessment, right?
communication.
So communication assessment, like, is there any elimination round or not? Because so many students have
Uh,
this doubt, like, is this elimination round or not? Because on campus, sometimes Cognizant are facing, the students are facing some problem that is elimination or not.
Right, even we were confused about this thing, but in the pre-placement talk, which was held on, like, which was handled by Cognizant team, they had clearly mentioned that last time maybe a communication round was elimination round, but this time communication wasn't an elimination round.
Okay.
And I think almost everybody from a college who gave a communication round, they got link for aptitude as well.
Okay, but it is mandatory to attend the communication assessment. Like if
It
some
is
student,
mandatory.
okay, if you are not attending, then you will not get the assessment link for the technical or aptitude, right?
No, there's nobody in my eyes as far as like I don't know if anybody had
Okay.
skipped that round, but everybody attended that round.
Okay, okay. So basically, what was the pattern for the communication this time? Is there any change or like exact sections? Like how many questions was there? So you can.
There were three sections, like three to four. I don't. It has been a time. I don't remember exactly, but there were verbal questions. There were
Okay,
grammatical questions. Firstly, we had to. It was proctored by AI.
Okay.
So first round was like we have to recording. We have to hear recording, and we'll have to repeat whatever the AI or whatever the person speaking. That those type of questions were there. There were questions we have to like analyze. We have to read and passage reading kind of questions were there. Two to
Okay.
three questions were there. Active passive voice, these kind of grammatical questions and verbal questions, all these questions were there.
So,
And yes, you
yeah.
can take help of YouTube, like whoever is watching. I took video, I have watched videos on YouTube, and they were really helpful. Like it is the same pattern they follow every time.
Okay, so basically communication assessment you mentioned like paragraph type question was there. Like you have to read the paragraph and on basis of that paragraph, like there will be some question that you have to answer.
Yeah, that kind of question. And
Okay.
in fact, simple reading also, like any sentence will be popped up on your screen, and you'll have to read it out.
Okay, read and your voice will be recorded like that.
Yeah, voice will be recorded.
Okay.
Yes, this kind of question we have to hear and then repeat that, like for seeing your listening power for all those
Okay.
things.
So like is there any
Yes.
difficulty like you face in the communication assessment because
No,
like
it's
it is
not
very
like that. It's
tricky.
just that yes, they have clearly mentioned that our earphone should be good, our sound quality should be good, because it's not, if there will be any white noise or something, that as you were asking that communication round is elimination round or not. So I think the only reason if somebody would get eliminated from that round, na, so that is sound quality only. Because it was not difficult. It's just that you have to be attentive there, and you have to be in a silent environment. You have to practice for communication. You have to practice your vocabulary. You have to practice English, and then you can easily clear that communication now.
Okay, so it was like medium level you like you
It
are
was
saying that.
moderate
Okay.
for me individually, I feel.
Okay, okay. So basically, the assessment was like communication assessment, and after that, in how many days, within how many days you got the link for this one as a technical assessment or
uh,
aptitude?
I guess it was after 1 week, like on 14th of Feb, we had a technical round. I
Yeah.
don't remember the exact date for like 1 week. After 1 week, maybe we had a technical.
Okay, so after communication, technical assessment was there.
Sorry, aptitude round
Okay,
was there
aptitude.
after.
Okay, so
Yes.
in aptitude, like aptitude and technical at the same day or there are different day they are
No, they
conducting.
were on different day. Like day after the our aptitude, we had a technical. There were only gap of 1 to 2 days, and they were not on the same day.
Okay, so after communication assessment, you got for the aptitude assessment and aptitude assessment. Can you please like update the pattern like क्या pattern था वहाँ पे?
Yes. वहाँ पे मतलब quants question, logical reasoning question, these kind of questions were there. And apart from that, there were game based question as well.
Okay.
And game based was very interesting part. I would suggest that if you want to clear game based, you can just watch one video on YouTube, which will be 5 to 10 minutes video, can help you clear that assessment. We also have, I practiced on website, Google website, which they have same kind of questions. So game based question were there, and basic logical reasoning, quants type of question, these kind of questions were there.
Okay, so I think this is very updated exam pattern. Previously, Cognizant was not asking game-based question. Previously, it was like quantitative, numerical, this one, logical ability and verbal ability. Now they have added. So I have one question. Like they are like including verbal ability also because in the communication assessment they are already covered this one. So they are including verbal or only logical or quantitative they are asking.
Verbal were not the part of our aptitude test.
Hmm.
Verbal, everything related to verbal was included in communication,
Okay, so like they are including only quantitative aptitude and logical
numerical
and
and logic. Yes.
then game based also they have
Right.
introduced newly. So basically this is the one like three sections will be there: aptitude, quants questions and logical questions and game based question where you can practice on the other Google or YouTube also, right?
Actually, there are two sections. Like first part, you have MCQs, you'll have,
Yeah.
and all kind of questions will be merged there. So sections were two, but I'm saying that kind of question I'm saying, like logical
Okay, okay.
reasoning.
Yeah.
This is
So it is very included only game based question will be there. It includes like quants or logical.
Yeah, game based was second. Like we had three sections, you can say 2 to 3 sections, and
Okay.
these were the question pack.
So is there any like timer for the separate section or total timer with the assessment?
No. There was time for individual
Okay,
section. There were
individual.
time.
Okay.
Yes, and for communication also, I missed this point that time is like time. If you'll miss on time, I have missed so many grammar questions just because of the time, which I was able to solve, but I wasn't able to solve because of the time. So you have to take care of the time in each and every test, each and every round and section in Cognizant.
Okay, so in the aptitude assessment also separate, just suppose you are solving the quants question, so there will be separate timing for that particular questions, right? Like for
Yes, there
section.
will be
Then again, if you
separate
complete
section.
it, then logical sections will come, right? So like that time. Okay, so separate
And for
section.
game based also, there were like the time was we had 1 to 2 minutes of time as far as I can remember,
Okay,
and you have to as much as of questions you can solve. They were not in like specifically it's not like that you'll have 10 questions or 5 questions.
okay,
कितने भी questions रहेंगे और आप जितना भी उस time में वो कर सकते हो solve
okay,
वैसा.
okay. A number of questions they will put, or
Num-
you have to solve like accordingly. कितने आप questions solve कर पा रहे हो?
Right.
Okay. So basically, like a total, what was the total timing for the aptitude assessment? Exact, if you remember.
Exact time I
Okay,
don't
okay.
remember the exact.
So, but it is important, guys. Like there will be sectional timing. If you are going for the technical assessment or aptitude assessment, you have to prepare like that that you can solve in time, right? Otherwise, you will skip the questions. So basically, after the aptitude assessment, can you like provide any cutoff, like how many questions students need to solve for the technical assessment or any kind of thing?
Cutoff, they don't have any official cutoff, but I know about myself and I know about few of my friends.
Yeah.
So 20 to 25 questions maybe they have solved. I have also solved around 20 to 25 questions. So there's no exact cutoff which is released by Cognizant, but it's like I have solved almost every question from the aptitude, logical reasoning, quantitative, and all those. And I have solved around 10 to 11 questions from game based as well.
Okay, so like out of total like how many total questions was like how many questions was there total?
Total question maybe uh, if I say the exact number, maybe it may be wrong or something. So
Around
there
you
are
can
maybe
say
50,
approx
around 45 to 50
40.
questions were
Okay, so
there.
50, 45 to 50
Mm.
questions, and you like you can solve like 25 or 30 question also. You will be shortlisted for the next round.
Right. Like no, 25 to 20 to 25. I'm saying there were maybe around 30 questions in. No, I'm not including game based questions
Okay,
in it.
okay, yeah.
Apart from that, overall, I'm saying
Okay,
it.
okay. Overall, you have solved like 20 to 25 questions, and you got shortlisted for the technical assessment.
Right. And I think aptitude was also not elimination round.
Every
They
also not
mentioned
eliminated.
yes, everybody from my college, everybody who appeared for aptitude, they got like shortlisted for technical as well. And as far as I can remember in pre-placement talk, Cognizant team mentioned that you will be able to give all the 3 rounds, and then like they'll average some average the number of questions, the number of your score, and on that basis you will get shortlisted for interview.
Okay, okay, I got it. Like total score, like total average, they are including from the communication to aptitude and like, from communication to technical assessment on
Yes,
their
if
score
you will
basis.
qualify
Okay,
technical round and then फिर मतलब तीनों चीजों का एवरेज लिया जाएगा,
oh,
कम्युनिकेशन, एप्टीट्यूड, टेक्निकल, बट टेक्निकल इज मस्ट, you'll have to qualify technical.
technical is
That is
very
elimination round.
okay. So after aptitude assessment, you got for the technical assessment. So अब जो
Yes.
technical assessment होता है, that is very important क्योंकि technical assessment के basis पे I think जिस तरीके से मैंने analysis किया उसके basis पे ही आपको profiles मिल रहे होते हैं whether you are going for Gen C next or pro, right?
हाँ,
ओके,
right.
सो आपका जो
Technical.
टेक्निकल असेसमेंट था वो मतलब किस तरीके से हुआ था? एंड वन मोर थिंग, हमारे ऑडियंस को सबसे ज्यादा डाउट होता है क्लस्टर्स का, सो यू कैन क्लियर क्लस्टर्स को कैसे चूज करना है, रजिस्ट्रेशन के टाइम पे चूज करना है या आपको कैसा क्लस्टर मिल सकता है, सो यू कैन
रजिस्ट्रेशन के टाइम पे क्लस्टर देयर आर टोटल ऑफ 3 clusters,
या
cluster 1, cluster 2 and cluster 3. So cluster 1 consists of Java, cluster
Yeah.
2 is of Python, and cluster 3 is C sharp. Clusters you'll have to select while registering on the while registering for while applying for Cognizant. मतलब registration के time पे ही cluster choose करना होता है.
Okay.
और प्री प्लेसमेंट टॉक में टीम ने ये मेंशन किया था कि क्लस्टर 1 डिफॉल्ट है.
Okay.
मतलब क्लस्टर 1 जावा ही मोस्ट ऑफ द लोगों को मिलेगा. ऐसा ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आपने क्लस्टर 2 सिलेक्ट किया है तो यू विल गेट दैट, क्लस्टर 3 है तो यू विल गेट दैट. I selected cluster 2, which is Python, SQL, and cloud fundamentals. Like I
Okay.
learned Python in first year of my college, and I took classes for Java in third year of my college. But only because of HTML, CSS. Like cluster 1 consists of Java, HTML, CSS, and SQL. SQL was common in all the three clusters.
Okay.
And apart from that, in cluster 2, we were having, instead of HTML and CSS, we were having cloud fundamentals. So that was the reason I found it bit easy. So I chose cluster 2, and you have to be like, you have to choose cluster very wisely, because almost everybody from like I know, they got cluster which they have selected. Only few of my friends which उनका क्लस्टर शफल हो गया था. बट
Okay.
ऑलमोस्ट एवरीबडी गॉट. तो क्लस्टर बहुत वाइजली चूज करना होता है, और क्लस्टर के बेसिस पे ही आपका इंटरव्यू भी होता है.
Okay. Okay. So it is very important to choose cluster.
यस.
सो रजिस्ट्रेशन के टाइम पे ही आपको चूज करना होता है, राइट? एंड यू
हाँ,
मेंशन लाइक
रजिस्ट्रेशन.
क्लस्टर वन सभी को मिलेगा बिकॉज इट इज बाय डिफॉल्ट. क्लस्टर टू एंड
नहीं
थ्री में
नहीं,
से चूज करना होता है, राइट?
क्लस्टर 1 2 3 में से ही चूज करना होता
ओके,
है. लेकिन
हाँ.
क्लस्टर 1 ऐसा कॉग्निजेंट टीम ने स्टार्टिंग में मेंशन किया था प्री प्लेसमेंट टॉक में, कि क्लस्टर 1 मोस्ट ऑफ द लोगों को बाय डिफॉल्ट मिलेगा, भले आप कुछ भी चूज कर रहे हो. अगर क्लस्टर 2 भी चूज किया है तो हो सकता है 1 ही मिल जाए. बहुत रेयर केसेस होंगे रेज्यूमे देख के, या फिर कुछ ज्यादा आपकी प्रोफाइल अगर लगेगी कि पाइथन वाली है तो क्लस्टर 2 मिलेगा, सी शार्प वाली है तो क्लस्टर 3 मिलेगा. बट ऐसा मिला तो सबको ऑलमोस्ट वही था जो जिसने चूज किया.
चूज किया था, ओके. सो सी, मैं एक चीज बता देना चाहता हूँ बिकॉज सभी का ये डाउट होता है, दे आर आस्किंग लाइक हमने क्लस्टर टू चूज किया था, हमें फर्स्ट क्यों मिल गया? तो गाइस ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपकी प्रोफाइल की बेसिस पे भी आपको क्लस्टर मिल सकता है, वेदर यू आर चूजिंग फॉर क्लस्टर वन टू और थ्री. आपको मिल सकता है लाइक ओनली टू क्लस्टर्स लाइक रहते हैं, राइट? सो हमें सॉल्व करना होते हैं.
थ्री
थ्री
क्लस्टर्स.
क्लस्टर्स रहते हैं, मतलब हमें दो सॉल्व करना होता है जो हम चूज मिलता है, राइट? या फिर एक ही क्लस्टर हमें सॉल्व करना होता है, एक ही
एक ही क्लस्टर
क्लस्टर, राइट?
सॉल्व कर.
टेक्निकल असेसमेंट में एक ही क्लस्टर, तो आपको या तो वन मिल सकता है या फिर थ्री या टू में से कोई भी एक क्लस्टर मिल सकता है. एंड बाय डिफॉल्ट बताते हैं स्टार्टिंग में हायरिंग प्रोसेस में भी रहता है कि इट इज डिफॉल्ट क्लस्टर बट इट इज नॉट मैंडेटरी. अगर आपकी प्रोफाइल में लाइक ज्यादा पाइथन होगा सो यू कैन गेट दी क्लस्टर टू ऑल्सो, राइट?
राइट.
सो क्लस्टर, एक ही क्लस्टर के बेसिस पे आपका टोटल टेक्निकल असेसमेंट होने वाला है, राइट?
दैट्स राइट.
ओके. सो जैसे तुम्हारा क्या क्लस्टर था जो तुमने चूज किया था, तुम्हें वही मिला था, राइट?
राइट, मेरा
ओके.
क्लस्टर 2 था. आई गॉट क्लस्टर 2 ओनली.
टू,
क्लस्टर
ओके.
2 consists of, as I mentioned, Python,
हाँ.
SQL. SQL was common for all the three clusters, and apart from that, cloud fundamentals were also there.
Okay, so like what type of question, what was the exact pattern for the technical assessment?
There were two SQL queries, SQL queries.
Okay.
There were two Python programming questions, and
Okay.
there were 10 cloud fundamental MCQs kind of questions for my cluster, because mine was second
Mhm.
cluster. But for cluster 1 and cluster 2, as HTML and CSS was part of those clusters, so people were
Okay.
getting first cluster SQL queries for everybody. Everybody got SQL queries, and then the programming questions, whichever language, whichever cluster you have chose. And the third and final were HTML and CSS questions for Java people for cluster 1 and cluster 3 people. But cloud fundamentals, MCQs kind of questions were for Python 2, for cluster
For a
2.
cluster two, right? So
That
cluster
was
one.
bit easy for me, like,
Okay,
and it
okay.
was not so time consuming as well.
So cluster one and cluster three will have like four total questions, like two coding questions for Java and C sharp, and then again for HTML, CSS. So HTML, CSS MCQ based or like coding questions will be there.
I'm so sorry, I guess I
Uh,
was out of my.
no issue. So it was like cluster one have like two coding questions which you have to solve in Java, right? And again HTML CSS question will be like MCQ based or coding based.
Uh, can you please pardon, like your voice got
Okay, okay. So I was asking like in the cluster one, cluster two, cluster three we have, right? So cluster one, you mentioned that there will be HTML, CSS questions and Java question also there. So it is okay that you have to solve two coding questions from the cluster one, and again two SQL queries, and then again HTML, CSS question will be there. So doubt is like student have to solve HTML, CSS as a MCQ question they are asking or coding questions they are asking.
No, coding questions
Coding
will be
question.
there.
How many?
HTML
Two
and
coding
CSS
or one?
coding question. Uh, One coding question was there. I was not get.
Okay.
मेरा HTML CSS नहीं था, तो I don't know. But yes, one coding question were there for
Okay, okay,
cluster one and cluster two. So there are basically five coding questions for cluster one and cluster three.
okay,
But
okay,
you will be having four coding questions if you will choose cluster two.
okay. So cluster two, four
Yes.
coding questions like SQL, then on this Python.
Yes.
Okay, and in that cloud fundamental MCQ, sometimes students are mentioning they are including AI also. So in your case, they mention the AI also, or a total cloud-based question they ask in the MCQ.
Cloud based, and that too very basic cloud fundamentals.
Okay.
Instead of one HTML CSS programming question, you will get 10 cloud fundamental questions.
Okay.
But that is MCQs based, so that is quite easy.
Okay, okay. So like, what was the time for the technical assessment? There any separate time for the sections?
Yes, it was of 2.5 hours. So, yes, it was of 2.5 hours, and we got the maximum. We got half 30 minutes maybe for SQL queries, 1 hour for technical for programming questions, for Python programming questions, and then remaining we got for cloud fundamentals.
Cloud Fund MCQ. So basically, this MCQ section and this coding section, like which type of questions they are asking? Is there any difficulty like hard level of a DSC question or medium level DSC questions they are asking?
Yes, like there were two questions. One easy and one more. I found it difficult, bit difficult,
Okay,
and I was facing indentation error problem so much. But at the end, in the like test cases pass हो गए थे, but it was like you'll have moderate to difficult kind of question. Interview में जो programming questions पूछे जाते हैं, those questions were very easy comparatively. Technical में
okay,
थोड़ा सा moderate to medium to difficult level of kind of questions will be there.
okay.
Programming questions. SQL queries were easy.
So SQL queries from which topics? Like कौन सी topic से ज़्यादा होता है कि students they can focus on that one?
टेबल आपको टेबल में से प्रिंट करना है, कुछ डेटा प्रोवाइड कर दिया जाएगा, तो कुछ
Yeah.
डेटा को सॉर्ट करना है या फाइंड करना है, वैसे क्वेश्चंस थे.
Like retrieve the data and something like filtration type. You have to solve these questions.
Filtration you can say, or you have a list of student, their marks, their everything,
Okay.
and you'll have to average out
Okay,
mathematical
aggregate
questions,
functions
modulation
also,
stuff,
joins also, like these topics very
aggregate
important.
functions. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So like SQL queries with medium or easy to medium level we can say.
Easy to medium depends on an individual who is more good in Python, who is more good in SQL. But
Okay.
Python, programming language, you'll have bit like moderate to difficult level of questions.
And mostly question based on array and string, I think, right? The
Yes,
coding.
array and string. Right, right.
Okay. So array and string guys, you can focus, and in the SQL, I think you have to focus on the joins, I think, and aggregate functions also. Retrieve the select queries. We can see select
Yes,
queries
I
also.
have not got joins question, but
Hmm.
yes, maybe it is an important topic as well.
Yeah.
So yes.
सो आफ्टर द टेक्निकल असेसमेंट जैसे कि सपोज तुमने दोनों ही क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर दिए थे एंड यू सॉल्व द टेक्निकल एमसीक्यू सो बेसिकली जनरली आई हैव टॉक लाइक सो मेनी इंटरव्यूज दे आर सेइंग कि उसके बेसिस पे अगर आप पूरा सॉल्व कर देते हैं देन यू कैन गेट दी जेंसी प्रो और जेंसी नेक्स्ट सो आपको कौन सा प्रोफाइल के लिए मेल आया था लाइक टेक्निकल असेसमेंट के बाद डायरेक्टली जो मेल आता है दे आर जनरली मेंशनिंग दैट वन कि आपके लिए इस प्रोफाइल को जाना है आपको लाइक इसके लिए इंटरव्यू आपका होना है लाइक हाउ विच टाइप ऑफ मेल दे आर सेंडिंग
कॉलेज से एक शीट आई थी पहले.
यस
वी हैव गॉट मेल फ्रॉम अ कॉलेज प्लेसमेंट सेल ओनली. तो उसमें जितने भी बच्चे सिलेक्ट थे उनका नाम था, और उनके नेम के आगे क्लस्टर
प्रोफाइल
प्रोफाइल मेंशन. आई
ओके
गॉट सिलेक्टेड फॉर जेन सी.
ओके
Solved SQL to both the queries I have solved.
ओके
But प्रोग्रामिंग 2 क्वेश्चन में से मेरे सेकंड क्वेश्चन में कुछ टेस्ट केसेस पास नहीं हो रहे थे,
ओके।
तो वो उस वजह से आई स्किप जेंसी नेक्स्ट एंड जेंसी प्रो, आई गॉट सिलेक्टेड फॉर जेंसी। और वही शीट, एक दे प्रोवाइड यू शीट मेल, एवरीबडी गॉट दिस मेल फॉर इंटरव्यू, like interview call, and you will have an Excel sheet. So there they mention cluster name, cluster name, and then profile for whichever you have got shortlisted.
Okay, so basically that you have mentioned that after that you got the mail. So in how many days like interview was scheduled, and like how was your interview experience exactly? That is very important topic because अभी आने वाले interviews तो किस तरीके से आपका इंटरव्यू हुआ था?
Right. We have टेक्निकल हमारा था 14th ऑफ Feb को।
Okay,
उसके बाद 27th ऑफ Feb वी गॉट अ रिजल्ट्स, लाइक
okay,
a mail for selected candidates, and then on 7th of March we had our interview. So
okay,
almost 1 week or around 1 week of time we got to prepare ourselves for interviews.
okay. सो जो इंटरव्यू हुआ था लाइक 1 वीक में आपका इंटरव्यू का प्रिपरेशन हुआ था, राइट? यू मेंशन दैट वन। सो इंटरव्यू लाइक आपका जो क्लस्टर उसके बेसिस पे स्टार्ट किया था, एनी अदर टॉपिक दे आर आस्किंग इन द इंटरव्यू?
No, like I'll tell you what happened. Cluster के हिसाब से जैसे for example, people who were having cluster 2, they were having separate interviews for that maybe, and
ओके।
people who were having cluster 1 and cluster 3, उनके separate interviews थे, तो cluster basis पे ही था। लेकिन हाँ, आप अगर इंटरव्यू में जाके अपने इंटरव्यूअर को कन्विंस कर देते हो या फिर उनको बोलते हो, तो they were polite enough to ask you
ओके,
whatever you mention in your introduction, whatever you have mentioned in your resume.
ओके।
For me, I'll go with my interview experience. What happened? Then when I went for interview, I when I have applied, I was having different. I have uploaded different resume on the while registering for Cognizant. But after that, कुछ changes थे, तो I had updated my resume. Like I did some major changes in the time of interview, because resume was like, it was very important part. As I entered, they first asked my introduction. After completing my introduction, they like started with my resume. They first asked me about the projects which we
ओके,
had made in a college, which we had made individually. Project was an important part. After discussing projects, I am also doing an internship from last
ओके,
1 year. So like we had a quite long discussion about my internship also. After moving on, like they were moving from bottom of the resume to top of the resume. Everything they had asked, whatever was mentioned in the resume.
ओके,
Project section, then experience section, and after that, skills. So,
ओके,
skills, whatever I mentioned in my introduction also, while introducing myself, they asked me that, are you comfortable with SQL? Should I go on and ask questions? So,
ओके,
I said that, yes, I'm comfortable. So, first of all, they asked oral questions, which were very easy. They asked questions like, they asked me, first question which they asked was a difference between list and tuple. Python
ओके,
question,
ओके,
physical difference, manual difference. What is the difference? They asked, and then they asked me what is the difference for global and local variable. So they started with like very easy questions.
ओके,
After completing, after asking normal questions, they gave me programming questions.
ओके,
Three SQL queries they asked me. After that, they moved on with Python, and they had asked me like 4 to 5 Python questions I had to solve there, like
ओके। सो
coding. We have to do coding there.
okay,
Yes.
so 4 to 5 coding questions they are asking. So on pen paper, or like you have to solve the
No, no.
this
On a
compile
लैपटॉप ओनली, लाइक
log.
ऐसा था कि लैपटॉप यहाँ पे लैपटॉप भी हमारे डेस्क पे रखा हुआ था, एंड दे वर हैविंग दैट सेपरेट लैपटॉप। तो जो भी हमारा रिकॉर्ड हो रहा था, जो भी हम टाइप कर रहे थे, एवरीथिंग दे वर लाइक दे हैड एक्सेस फॉर अ स्क्रीन एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम। सो
Okay,
yes, on laptop only we had to. And yes, our video was also recording. Like if you'll get shortlisted, your video will also get checked. Like they will recheck and re-verify everything.
okay, like
So
after
laptop
the full
recording भी
selection
थी,
process also the आपका पूरा selection process recorded रहेगा. After that they can verify like full process, right?
whole process, right?
Okay.
There are fundamentals, oops, basic oops question also, and they asked me like basic linear like sorting question, algorithm, DSA, or
Hmm.
basic questions they only ask.
So DSC question also they are asking.
No, not DSA, like not while coding, but
Hmm.
DSA few concepts they have asked, like what I know about very basic questions after. And yes, I want to tell one more thing, like this
Okay.
can be helpful for people. I got one question in Python which I found bit difficult. Like that was I mean, I was not able to solve it, and I very politely asked my interviewer to like if she could just ask me something moderate now. Like this is topic which I was not able of that topic.
Okay.
And then she asked me that what kind of basics you're asking for, कितने level तक का आपको आता है तो आप वो बता दो. तो उस हिसाब से also they asked me like last two questions. So
Okay.
you can
Okay.
be like you can be confident and you can politely ask them.
Okay.
For
Like
my
to
case, this
switch
thing
the
worked. I'm not
questions.
sure.
Okay.
Yes.
No, no, like it depends. Basically, हर interview में हो जाता है कि if you are asking to switch the questions, they can switch the questions. Like if you are not, if you don't know, you can simply say don't know. They are not
Yes.
asking that much hard question, but sometimes it's bugs or sometimes it doesn't. So, but it depends. Like वो switch कर सकते हैं या नहीं. But you mentioned that five programming questions. So, like, what was the level of the five programming question they asked?
I exactly remember. In fact, like the first question, when SQL query were very simple. Like I just had to print out one name from the table. I have to then easy questions were there. I had to after that in Python, the first question which they asked me was array question. First they asked, and then they also asked me list questions. They asked me file handling question,
Okay.
and they asked me 4 to 5 questions among these topics only. String questions,
Okay,
array
so you
questions.
have to write the
Yes.
program, total program, and execute also.
Not Google program. No, no, not even. It's just that we had to simply 1 to 2 line of coding
Okay, so, like
required थी उन्होंने
pattern
वैसे
type,
question.
something like you know the basic, like concept of that file handling, something you have to
Yes.
write
They
the
were just
simple
checking it.
code,
Are
right?
you aware about it or
Okay,
not?
okay, like format type you have to write, format type. Okay,
Yes. Not full programming, not full coding. Very basic.
at least like how you start the program and what was the basic format, how to write the file handling function type something. Okay,
राइट वन क्वेश्चन तो वाज वेरी इजी कि उन्होंने सिर्फ लिस्ट लिख के लिस्ट करना था तो जो
okay,
लिस्ट मॉड्यूल उसको यूज करके हमको सिर्फ लिस्ट करना था वन लाइनर वन
yes, yes.
वन लाइन आंसर क्वेश्चन था
Like
उसका
list कैसे यूज करते हैं एग्जैक्टली प्रोग्राम में, सो उस टाइप का क्वेश्चन.
हाँ अगर
ओके.
किसी भी वेरिएबल को या लिस्ट करके देना है तो हाउ यू हैव लाइक यू सेपरेट दो स्ट्रिंग नो वन
Yes,
बाय वन
yes.
लेटर अल्फाबेट्स दैट थिंग
Okay, okay. So like they are asking from the starting like your project they have asked, and internship experience, like if people don't have interview experience they can switch directly programming or other topics, but if you have internship then you can prepare for the internship experience
राइट
also, and project also you have to prepare, and then coding also, like basic coding, like you don't need to solve the question but basic format or basics you should know. If you are going for the Java or Python, anyone like you have to know about the basic concept. After that, SQL also they are asking some questions. Okay, and other than that one, is there like suppose some students mention the web development in their resume or any other technology which they have like done the project like data science or any other technology they have done the project. So they are asking the question from that technology also or any basic questions they are asking.
मेरे टाइम पे उन्होंने सिर्फ यही यही टॉपिक्स पूछे थे जैसे आई डिड जावा सर्टिफिकेशन बट दे
Okay,
डिडंट आस्क एनीथिंग अबाउट जावा now
okay,
that could be because I didn't mention java in my introduction while introducing and while telling her that what skills I have. But yes, if you have mentioned in your projects, if you did, yes, I did one webd project, web
okay.
development project, and they asked me about it. They only asked, they didn't ask technologies, what I have used, nothing about tech stack, but they asked what was my role, what actually I like back, not
How you
exact
did?
technologies,
Okay.
but they discussed the project very deeply.
Basically
तो
like how
प्रोजेक्ट अगर आपने
approach, okay, approach of the project, right? कैसे किया है
अप्रोच
आपने? Yes, okay.
my first in my first year of college I made basic website like one basic landing page and that kind of like 2 to 3 pages only very basic website I mentioned. So they asked me about it. After that I did one I have used math module and I've did one program python project. They asked me about that as well. So yes.
So project you have to understand very deeply, like your approach of the project and how you worked in that project, like how your project
Yes, you
exactly
have to.
working.
Yes. I
Okay.
even they didn't ask me to write my project code, but few of my friends told me that they have they asked to write the code on what
Okay.
project they
Project.
did.
So you have to understand very well like how you have written the code of the project. So it is very also like very deep also, like if you are preparing for the project also you have to prepare for the code also, like how you have written the code in which technology, so you can prepare that one because project is very important as a experience also they are including, right? Or internship if you have done then you can prepare for the internship also. So it was like total interview experience, like total technical, and after that like is there any behavioral questions, because how many people are taking the interview exactly, like is there technical or HR person?
For Gen C profile,
Huh.
there were only one
One.
but Gen Z next, there were not one interview physically present. There were present one interview physically, or eight interviewer. Maybe my friends told me who got selected for Gen Z next. There were one interviewer online also
Okay.
on the screen. So behavioral question, yes. After completing completing all the technical question after programming and all, they asked me about they asked me if I'll be able to relocate everywhere wherever I'll get location. They asked about my family. So yeah, basic one to behavioral HR questions you can say they asked.
Okay, one to HR questions they ask. Okay. So like normal questions will be there. HR question about the company or something, right? So they don't ask to you like any HR question, behavioral questions or any technical questions.
They as I mentioned, they asked technical questions, but in the end, they asked about like the very few questions, HR question they have asked. Why you? They also asked me not exactly, not directly that why you want to be a part of team, not
Yes.
that question. But yes, while asking for relocation, maybe her intent. I mentioned that why I would prefer going to Cognizant. All these kind of questions.
Okay,
Very
normally so you have to like very clear mind, like you should know about the cognizant or like vision something. So that type of questions they are asking.
Yes, you should know about you should know your motto of joining the company, why
Okay.
you want to be a part of an organization and why you want to be in IT industry as well.
Okay, so that was your whole interview experience, like one by it was very smoothly as I can see, like you got the result because some students are facing the issue in the results, like so in like you mentioned that 1 2 days you got the result for the cognitive assessment or something, so it is very smooth or any difficulty to like get the result email or something.
हर एक राउंड के बाद एक एक वीक का ऑलमोस्ट हमको मतलब एक एक वीक के बाद ऑलमोस्ट सेकेंड राउंड के लिए मेल आ रहा था फर्स्टली स्क्रीनिंग राउंड के बाद ऑलमोस्ट सबको मेल आया लेकिन देयर आर फ्यू ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स जिनको कम्युनिकेशन असेसमेंट का मेल नहीं आया
Okay.
कम्युनिकेशन होने के बाद आफ्टर वन वीक मे बी वी हैव गॉट फॉर लिंक फॉर एप्टीट्यूड उसका भी मेल स्मूथली ही आ गया था हमको एप्टीट्यूड के बाद इंटरव्यू टेक्निकल के लिए भी मेल आराम से बट उसके बाद बहुत टाइम हुआ था इंटरव्यू के लिए रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर करने के लिए मतलब दे टुक सफिशिएंट टाइम आफ्टर दैट result declaration we got are you asking about offer letter or
No,
are
no,
you
no.
asking about
Results only. This assessment results only.
yeah assessment result was smooth in our cases there were no such issue
Okay, so basically,
maybe
guys,
because that was
yeah.
on campus or
Hmm.
TNP cell was also very supportive to us.
Okay, so like you mentioned, like for the interviews, they can take the time. So basically, you guys can wait also if you are not getting the mail also, because it might take some time for the like because they are also shortlist and filtration, like for like how many students are there and for which student they have to set the Gen Z profile. So it might take time also.
Right.
Okay, so it was very good experience, and any suggestion if you can say to our audience like how they can practice or like which topics they have to follow for the Cognizant Gen Z or Cognizant Gen Z next, like if they are preparing then.
Sure, sir. I would just sum up for each and every round. Firstly, for communication round, you have to be well prepared. You can practice from different platforms. You can prefer YouTube. YouTube is something that really help you for communication round. After preparing that can help in communication. For aptitude also, you can just help of YouTube. YouTube will help you. But for technical, yes, you have to be well prepared. You have to take care of the time and then solve questions. You have to choose very clusters very wisely. Don't think that, see, SQL is common in all three questions, all three clusters. So be well prepared with SQL. SQL theories was asked to everybody from every each and every cluster. जैसे भी मेरे friends जो दूसरे cluster भी choose किए थे, उनको भी SQL theories पूछे गए थे question. And for interview, you have to be very confident and calm there. What you know, be direct. What you don't know, like don't try to round up things and don't
Yes.
try to pull them out. So they're very calm and patient with us, but you have to be confident. You'll have to like good. You have to speak well. You have to. That's it. These are all my suggestions. It's just that.
Okay,
And
okay,
before
great.
going for interview, I watched a video from your channel only from like this kind of podcast video only. And I never thought that I'll be next who will be able to do a podcast with you. So I'm very grateful for that as well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
it's great
it
to us
helped me.
also. Thank you. So it was the great interview experience, Ananya, and to our audience also, I think it will be very helpful if they are preparing for the technical interview or cognizant, they are going for the interview. It will be definitely helpful because जो भी podcast previously हुए हैं, they can also watch, and it was also very great experience. And I would suggest to our audience also, whatever shared by Ananya.